perform your Isha prayer. That's not praying your prayer, that night before you go to bed, before you went to bed, that reflected in the life of your father and made your father unhappy in the akhirah. That is one of the expectations. If you have any marhum, always try as much as possible to minimize a sin, because they feel it when we sin and they become happy when we do something right. That's the first right. Number two, one of the rights upon us is that always remember your deceased by praying for them. Don't forget them. Because after they die, any person who dies, it's like their file is closed. Nothing they can do to earn any rewards from Allah. Nothing they can do to be rewarded in that world. But what they can do to get rewarded is what? As when you, as a son, always remember them and they pray. And that's what the Prophet said. إِذَا مَاتَ ابْنَ آدَمْ إِنْقَطَعَ عَمَلُهُ إِلَّا مِنْ ثَلَاثٍ. When a person passes away, the Prophet said he has no way to earn any reward except three ways or three things. Number one, the Prophet is sadaqatun jariyah. If he or she built a charity that continues to give the benefit to people, then they still get the reward after they die. And it's like what? It's like a retirement plan. So you and I, when you're working today, you have a retirement plan. What does the retirement plan do? What it does is after I retire, I'm home, I don't work, but I still get a paycheck. I still get money. The same thing is, what it does is after one pass away, they still can get the reward in their grave. And it's called sadaqatun jariyah. Number two, our ilmun yuntafa'u bih. Or if he or she left behind a knowledge, a book he wrote, or she wrote, or one hadith, or ayah, a verse from the Quran, you taught someone, a child, or a son, or a nephew, or anybody else, anytime they read that ayah, or they remember, you get a reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your grave. That is also one of the retirement plans between us and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number three, which is the most important, is أَوْوَلَدٌ صَالَحَ يَدْعُو لَهُ. Or you leave behind a son, the righteous son, who after any prayer, he remembers his parents. Raises his hand and he says, Ya Allah, I ask you to bless my father. Oh Allah, I ask you to do it. Allah, forgive my mom, my dad. That prayers get to them after they die. That is number two you can do. Number three, one of the things you can do is you can pray 2 rakah prayer every day. Or anytime you can. And after that prayer you say, Ya Allah, send the reward of these 2 rakah to my mother or my father. And they receive it. And you know what? Wallahi, they receive these things with the happiness too. The hadith said, see, when you recite sometimes Surah Al-Fatiha, and we say to all mu'minin and mu'minat, you know what happens? They rush and fight on that Fatiha. But when you send it, you say, to my mom, she is sitting, and that reward gets to her, and she is happy that you remembered her. Or a father is sitting, and he received a Surah Al-Fatiha from a son or a daughter, and he received it with happiness, and they are happy that you remember them. And you know what they say? After you do this, they also ask Allah, Ya Allah, let my son to be remembered when he comes to where I am in the future. So what happened? When my time comes that I pass away, I also get someone to read Surah Al-Fatiha on my time. That is number three. Number four, one of the things one can do is to give a charity, sadaqah, $1 or $2, 50 cents, and say, Ya Allah, the reward of this should go to my mother or my father, and they get that reward. And guess what? See, Allah is not like you and I. When I give somebody $2, I lose the $2. I don't have it anymore. It goes to someone, right? Now, Don't think that's the case when I say pray two rak'ah and say go to my mom. Then Allah gives you your mom and you go with nothing. No. Allah is not an Uncle Sam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not a human being. Allah is the most generous. You pray 2 rak'ah, you say go to my mom, Allah gives to your mom, and then you also have the reward for that 2 rak'ah prayer as well. So in any case, you lose nothing. That is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. After this sadaqah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send the reward to your mom or to anybody you give it. And they also give, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you the same reward as well. My dear brothers and sisters, we all have deceased ones. Please don't forget them. Read Quran sometimes and send the reward to them. You know why? Because in that world, they are desperate needing you as well as you when you are here. Imam Ali alayhi salam, one time when he went to Wadi Salam, and he was speaking to the deceased. And he said to them, Ya Ahl al-Qubur, oh you, the settlers of these graves. If you ask us about what is going on in this world, they say, Amma buyutukum faqad sukinat. Asking us about your houses that you left behind. They say, now some people are already living in them. Wal amwal فقد قسمت. Money that you left behind is already divided. Malabis lubisat. The clothes you left behind is now being worn, used. And then you go on and on and said to them, this is the news we have for you in this world. But what is the news that you have? What do you have to tell us? In that world, Alam al-Barzakh, what do you have for us? And they all responded to Imam Ali. And they said to Imam Ali, La naghbitu illa ahla dunya. See, one thing we're all worried about, and that is what? They say we envy the people of world, the people which are those who are alive, you and I. Why do you envy them? Yusallun wa la yusallun. They praying, always they accumulating the reward. When they stand in front of Allah, they do it. They always fragrant, but we don't. That's it. We can't do anything unless whatever they send to us. وَيَسُومُونَ وَلَا نَسْمُونَ. They come fast to earn more reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on daily basis. They want to progress spiritually. They can. But what about us? We cannot. They can go to Hajj to earn more reward, and we cannot. And that is the only thing that bothers us. They don't mention money, huh? They didn't mention any place. How? No. What they mention is what? Salat, Hajj, Zakah. Ibadah is what they miss, not houses. Dear brothers and sisters, that is the journey for all of us. Let all of us remember them, so that when we go there, we will also be remembered. If we don't remember them today, trust me, when I go or when you go, nobody's going to remember you. Kama tudinu tudan. What you plant is what you will sow, and that is what the rule is. Peace be upon her on the day she died, and peace be upon her on the day she will be resurrected. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with all our deceased. And Ya Allah, we ask you when our time comes, let it be the best time of our life, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we ask you, this mother who passed away, today is her 40th day, that we are commemorating, Ya Rabb. Let the reward of this gathering go to her grave, Ya Rabbal Alamin. Ya Allah, we ask you, all our marhumin and marhumat, Ya Rabb, we ask you, if they are in your mercy, Ya Allah, increase your rahmah on them, Ya Rabbal Alamin. Those of them who might be in your punishment, in your anger, Ya Allah, we ask you to forgive them, Ya Rabbal Alamin. Ya Allah, when our time comes, Ya Allah, have mercy upon us, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Let's recite Surah Al-Fatiha.